I have come from so far away down the road of my own mistakes, the hope you would hear me pray, oh Lord, keep me in your reach. How I've longed through these wasted years to outrun all my pain and fears, turn to stone from my uncried tears, and now it's your grace I see. Love won't compromise, it's a gift, not a sacrifice. My soul renewed and my heart set free. In you I'll find my peace. Oh, wondrous child, whom the angels sing, know my joy, feel my suffering, shining star, make this love you bring so bright that I may believe. That my way will not be lost from now on, till that river's crossed. My soul renewed and my spirit free. In you I'll find my peace. My way will not be lost from now on, till that river my soul renewed and my heart released. In you I'll find my peace. My soul renewed and my heart set free. In you I'll find my peace.
Thank you to the Spirit I Am band. They do a great job. Our music director Kyle is up in Hilton Head this morning sharing with them. So don't forget that if you brought your cell phone, we are going live on Facebook right now. So go to our Facebook page, Unity of Savannah, and share with everybody. We want to let them know about this message of peace that we have to share with the world today. Peace. There is no way to peace. Peace is the way. Anybody heard that before? There's no way to peace. Peace is the way. And you know, I don't know really who said that. That's attributed to a lot of different people. Thich Nhat Hanh, the Dalai Lama, A.J. Musty, the Beatles. All we are saying is give peace a chance, right? There is no way to peace. Peace is the way. And it's interesting that we call Jesus our way shower in unity. He was here to show us the way. And we read a quote from him this morning, or now we did, in the Advent reading. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. There's something that is within you that is greater than what is in the world. Jesus, our way shower, told us. And I really like the book of John in the New Testament, even more than a lot of the parables of Jesus, because the way I envision this, Jesus was a guru, and he had these devotees that were following him around. Now, he said that he told parables for the masses. You know, he was talking to people who were fishermen and farmers, and so he's told stories about fishing and farming. But when he was with his disciples, his devotees, he gave them the real truth. You know, he really went right to the heart of the matter with them. And what we see in the book of John is a familiar practice by a guru of his day. The saints and the sages of India would do the same thing, and I imagine they still do today. When they know that their time is getting short, they bring their followers around them, and then they give them the real deal. They're like, this is what I want you to know about everything that we've been covering. This is, take notes, right? So Jesus, our guru, I mean, can you imagine if Jesus was like Paramahansa Yogananda? Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give you as the world gives. Do not let your heart be troubled. Do not be afraid. Gives you a different idea of Jesus, right? So he's talking to these guys, and he's sharing with them in this book of John. And John represents love. He's the heart. He's right here. You know, he's one of your 12 powers. We talk about this in unity. this concept of 12 powers of humankind. And each one of Jesus' devotees stands for a different power of the Christ that is within you. And all those powers together are the divine idea, the spiritual human that you are. So when we look at the book of John, it's the book of love. And Jesus loved his disciples, his devotees. And he knows he's going to die. And so he's gathered them all together to give them the scoop. Don't forget this. When I'm gone, I want you to remember this part. So he says, right in the beginning of the 14th chapter, do not let your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many dwelling places. If it were not so, I would have told you. Okay, now when he's talking about in my Father's house, remember, he told us a lot that the kingdom of heaven was where? Within. He's talking about a place in consciousness. He's not saying, now when you die, I got this really nice bedroom fixed up for you. You're going to love the lamp on the bedside table, right? Sounds... No, it's a place in consciousness. Jesus was prayed up all the time. He was preparing himself. It's like he was transmitting this consciousness to his disciples and devotees. This is the way I do it. Do it like this. This is how you stay centered and grounded in peace. Do it like this. This is the way to do it. He says, if I go prepare a place for you, I will come again and I will take you to myself, that where I am, you can be there too. He tells them in another place in the book of John, he says, I am one with the Father. I want you to know that you're one with me so that you can know you're one with the Father too. And that we're all one. He's talking about love and oneness are the main messages in the book of John. Love and oneness. I will prepare a place for you. I will show you how. This is the way. And then Thomas, remember? We call him Doubting Thomas because he's the one that saw Jesus after Jesus was regenerated, resurrected, and he had these holes. He said, I want to see the holes in your hand. I want to see, Thomas said, where the sword pierced you in the side, because I'm not sure about this. So we call him Doubting Thomas. But in unity, Thomas represents our power of understanding. He's like, let me get this. Let me be sure that I get it. Let me ask you this. We don't know where you're going, he said. Jesus, how can we know the way? It's what Jesus is saying. It's not a map. It's not a path. It's a path, but it's a spiritual path. You don't need a physical map. You need a heart map to get there. Right? This is the way. He said, I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. No one comes to the Father except by me. Now, this verse has been used to whack people on the head. To say, if you're not like me, then you're not included in this kingdom of heaven. But Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within us. And he said, this is the way. He was not speaking from his Jesus the man personality. He's speaking from his I am Christ consciousness when he says, I am the way. But other spiritual teachers have told us that peace is the way. There is no way. There is no map. Peace is the way. It's a way of being in the world. So what if we took out Jesus for a minute, hold your breath, out of that verse, and we stuck in a quality of God? We don't know, Lord, the way. How can we know the way? And Jesus said, peace is the way. Peace is the truth. Peace is life. No one comes to the Father, to the kingdom within, except through peace. Wow. Drink that in. Gives us a different way to think. That's what I'm here to do. I am here to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. Yeah. To challenge our thinking. Because this is called all new thought, right? What would my life be like if I carried around the same old thought all the time? Well, I wouldn't be very happy because the thoughts I started out with weren't all that great. But coming to Unity, I've got a different idea about God, and it's because somebody afflicted by comfortability. Think about this. Whatever is good and righteous and pure, think on these things, Paul said. Think, contemplate. Don't take what I say as gospel or truth. I'm just another person on the path, just like you are. Try this stuff out for yourself. Our fifth principle says it's not enough to know this. We have to practice it. We have to live it as well. And there was a lady who really lived her truth called the Peace Pilgrim. Has anybody ever heard about the Peace Pilgrim? She was this lady who traveled around the country, I think in the late 70s, early 80s. And she went 25,000 miles on foot, all across the country. And she said she didn't rest until she was given shelter. And she fasted until somebody gave her something to eat. She totally was dependent on God to take care of her. She traveled until given shelter, and she fasted until someone gave her something to eat. And the whole time, she's this happy little silver-haired woman wandering around telling people about the way of peace. The way of peace. She says, this is the way of peace. Overcome evil with good, and falsehood with truth, and hatred with love. Whatever is good, whatever is true, whatever is loving, think on these things. Be in this. Practice this. She talked about living a simple life. Simplifying your life. Says that possessions we have can become burdens to us. We have all this stuff to carry around. Christmas is a great example of that. There's lots of stuff at Christmas, isn't there? We're going to give each other stuff, you know. Sometimes I feel like if somebody gives me something real good, well, I have to think of something real good. You know, kind of at the top. Oh, well, that was really good. I wasn't even planning on getting them anything. So come up with something really good. You know, so I stress out. I already spent my Christmas money. Well, let me get my Walmart credit card. Right? You know, all this stuff can become a burden to us that we carry around. You know, we can look to the lives of people like peace pilgrims and monks and people who have given up all worldly things and just like focused on God all the time and depended on God. And they seem to be really happy people. You know, Peace Pilgrim talked about giving instead of getting. You know, her whole thing was, how can I give? How can I be of service? You know, we get so busy getting. I gotta have this, I gotta have this. I gotta have the right partner, I gotta have the right house, I gotta have the right car, I gotta have the right job. If I don't have these things, then I'm going to be unhappy. Well, guess what? Even if you get them, you still won't be happy, and they'll probably go away. Everything changes, right? If I'm upset, it's because I'm either afraid I'm not going to get something I want, or somebody's going to take away something I already have. Think about this. Write this down. If I'm afraid, it's because I'm worried that somebody's going to take something I have, or I'm not going to get what I want. And if you look at every time you're upset, that rule pretty much applies. And it's not always the material things either. Have you ever thought that you needed all the love and comfort and support that the universe could give through one special person? And then they go away? Ooh, well, where are you now? Where's the peace there, right? There was a time in my life, and I didn't know if I was going to share this story or not, but God took me right to it this morning. Where, and some of y'all have heard this before, I had said yes to God in a really big way. And I had this great job at a Unity church. I had a little business doing computer networking and websites and stuff. I had a loving partner. I had all these nice houses. And I said, okay, God, if you want me to be a minister, I'll be a minister. And then about 2 months later, it all went away. It was like I had this nice little container, everything all built in. And God just took it and went, all right, now let's see. You know, I feel like that I was being called to depend upon God, to simplify my life, to think about what I could give, to think about somebody else, about poor me. Poor me. What are they saying there? Poor me, another Greek. So I made this decision. I'm going to move to another state. I'm going to get a job somewhere else. I think that God is calling me to do this. I feel really strongly about this, but I'm really scared about it too. So one day I'm in my house, and I'm running around trying to do something, and I'm not really doing anything. And my mother had died. A really close relationship. It ended really suddenly. The computer job that my little business just went crazy. I left the church. I mean, it was like I didn't have nothing. I'm just running around in my house and drinking coffee, not eating, just a mess. I couldn't sleep. And what I decided was that I was trying the best way that I could to get away from these feelings of grief and loss. And for once, all of the tricks that I used to not feel what was going on in my life weren't working anymore. Things hurt so bad I could not get away from it, right? So I've been listening to Eckhart Tolle. I've been watching Ganga G videos. Anybody know Ganga G? I've talked about her before. She's a spiritual teacher, and one of her invitations is to dive down deep into an experience and see what's there for you. She wrote a book called The Diamond in Your Pocket. You're carrying it around with you all the time, even when you're upset. There's something that is inside of you that is a gift. What can you find it? Even in grief, even in loss, you know. And up until that time, I thought, well, this is really great teaching. This is a great idea. Sure, I could do this because everything was going okay. And now, you know, the rubber's hitting the road here. It's like, I can absolutely not get away from how I'm feeling. It was too overwhelming. And so that moment in my house, I'm running around, I just stopped. Because that's what one of her invitations is. Just stop. 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 Have you seen that Bob Newhart video? The person goes in and says, oh, life's terrible and I'm having these problems and everything's going. And he says, I got a simple method. Stop it! Just stop it. Just stop. Just be still and know, right? There it is again. It's everywhere if you look for it. Be still and know. Just stop. Pause. Dive down deep into the experience. See what is there for you. And so I just went, all right, God, here I am, Lord. Where we heard that one. Sit down in a chair, and I said, I can't get away from this. Ganga G says, dive deep. All right, I'm diving. I'm here. I can't do this anymore. Help me. Where is it? You know, how do I do this? I don't know how to dive deep. So she talked about what is the experience of grief like? What is the experience of anger like? What does it feel like? Where is it? What are the thoughts that I'm thinking? My heart's beating a little fast. My face feels red and flesh. My mind is racing. You know, so I tried as much as I possibly could, and I asked God to help me to be present to what was going on right in that moment. And just for a second, I felt the most profound peace I have ever known in my life. And it was gone. But it was there. That's why I talk about touching the hem of the garment so much. Because in that moment, I experienced that peace that they told me was in every experience. At my Unity Church, they said, wherever you are, God is. Oh, God's in here. Okay. Really? Me too? God's in here for me and you and you and you? And him? Really? Yes, really. And it went from, remember last week I talked about the difference between believing and knowing? Before I just believed it. I thought it was a good idea. Sometimes I kind of thought it might be true. But in that moment, sitting in that chair, in the most terrible experience I've ever had in my entire life, of overwhelming pain and suffering, I found a little nugget of truth, a little pocket of peace. And that is a touchstone for me. I can go back to that moment in my life now and say, you know what? Even when I forget, I know that God is inside of me. I know that peace is inside of me. And what do we teach in unity? But the outside world is a reflection of what's going on in me. So I absolutely know that there's a something within me that can express as peace, and that something is creative. And it's in each one of you too. Its nature is to express. Let's forget about everything we know about Jesus and all the ideas that we have about God and throw those out the window and start over brand new. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Become a new creature. Get a new idea, a new thought about what you are and your place in the universe. That there is something that is within you that manifests as peace and love and joy and health and prosperity and abundance. And it wants to come out because that's what it does. Its nature is creative. It created everything that we see. And it's still creating. It rested for a moment, it took a breath, and it kept going. And you are part of that. So how is God manifesting through and as you this Christmas season? Are you going to let the peace that you are out in the world? Are you going to search for that nugget and focus on it and release it into the world? I want to share with you one more quote from the Peace Pilgrim, because she's really inspired me this week. And people in her book asked her a bunch of questions, and she gave answers. Now this question is, how can I be close to God? And I think the answer would fit, how can I find the peace of God? Okay? So let's pretend we ask Peace Pilgrim. She's here. Well, God's everywhere present all the time, right? Everybody's an expression of God, so Peace Pilgrim, how can I experience the peace of God? And she says, God is love. Whenever you reach out in loving kindness, you are expressing God. God is truth. And whenever you seek truth, whenever you're Thomas, looking for a deeper understanding, you are seeking God. God is beauty. And whenever you touch the beauty of a flower or a sunset, you're touching God. When you touch the face of the person that brings you joy, you're touching the face of God. God is the intelligence that creates all and sustains all and binds all together and gives life to all. Yes, God is the essence of all. I wonder if Peace Pilgrim has been talking to Emma Curtis Hawkins. So you're within God, and God is within you. You could not be where God is not. Where have I heard that before? There's no spot where God is not. Peace Pilgrim has been watching our videos. Permeating all is the law of God. Physical law and spiritual law. Disobey it and you feel unhappiness. You feel separated from God. You feel unpeaceful. Obey it and you feel harmony. You feel close to God. You feel the peace of God. So let's take that into prayer. This idea that peace is within us all the time. Put your hand on your heart if you would, and allow your eyes to close. And just know that there is a peace that is within you all the time. Wherever you go, you carry it with you. And it doesn't matter what's going on in the world or around you. Peace is not the absence of noise, trouble, or hard work. Peace is the ability to remain calm in your heart in the midst of all these things. And so as we practice is peace as we practice going within, as we practice staying centered in God. We are the peace that passes all understanding. We are the Christ of God in expression. And for this power that we have, for this understanding, and for the love, we are grateful. And so it is. Amen. So sad and blue, 'cause I never knew the gospel truth about me and you. I'm so glad I found a little peace inside. How could I know that love would grow till it's seen it in the face of everybody I know? I'm so glad I found a little peace inside. Take